Most luxury brands want your attention. These 15 don't. While the market obsesses over waitlists and resale prices, these 15 sell the same way they always have. They sell to the ultra-wealthy. They are mostly off-camera, off-social, and off-limits. No hype, no explanations, just controlled access. The truth is, for these brands, recognition is a liability at this level. And once you understand how these brands operate, you'll realize why the luxury you've been shown is not the luxury the ultra-rich actually buy. So let's begin. Number 15. Dunhill. Once you've heard this name, you probably are thinking of airport lighters and cologne. Most people would, and you would be right and wrong at the same time. Dunhill operates two markets, one for the masses to buy stuff from, but I don't know which of the masses that'll work out. Around $40 for a lighter though. The other market, the real Dunhill, is the one the ultra-high net worth or the UHNW patronize. Dunhill was founded in 1,893 inches. London quietly serves old British wealth through made-to-measure tailoring and legacy leather programs. Their bespoke suits start at $12,000. Custom briefcases? $8,000. Dunhill Heritage operates completely separate from mall stores. While tourists buy cologne at Heathrow, UHNW clients commission crocodile travel cases in Mayfair workshops without websites. They are essentially invincible, but they didn't collapse because of this, and it's their choice to remain invincible. When fellow British brand Burberry exploded into mass luxury in the 2000s, Dunhill went opposite. Fewer clients, higher prices, zero marketing. What's happening here is strategic obscurity. Dunhill realized something 50 years ago that most luxury brands are learning now. Overexposure kills prestige faster than bad products. So they created a public face, accessible fragrances, gift items, that funds a completely separate ecosystem for ultra-high net worth clients who never want to see their briefcase on someone else's arm. Dunhill Heritage thrives specifically because 99% of people think Dunhill is a cologne brand. That ignorance protects the real business. Survival prediction? They'll be here in 50 years, serving the same families they serve now. Dunhill staying quiet is one thing. But this next brand took invisibility to a completely different level. They operate through referrals only. If you're not introduced by an existing client, you literally cannot buy from them. Ready? Number 14. Maison Corthy. This Parisian shoemaker brand was founded in 1990 by Pierre Corthay after 15 years at Berluti. Shoes cost around $5,000 for entry-level shoes to $18,000. But cost isn't the barrier, access is. Referrals only, no walk-ins, no Instagram. You have to get introduced by existing clients or don't get in. You'd think they don't even want customers. They do, but while other shoemakers chased e-commerce in the 2000s, Corthay refused. They make around 300 pairs of shoes annually, and when they got the opportunity to expand to department stores, they said no and would rather have waitlists. And speaking of which, around 2020, Maison's waitlist hit 3 years. So, it's not as if you'd get your shoes a few weeks after you got referred. Nope. This is even worse than the Rolex waiting list, isn't it? This brand made owning shoes the ultimate insider signal among men who are used to being on waitlists to buy $1,000 watches whose names people don't know. And it is this thing that Maison understands precisely. He knows ultra-wealthy men don't want fashion. They want craft so refined that only peers notice. His shoes feature hand-welted construction, vegetable-tanned leather dyed using 19th century techniques, and finishing work requiring 60+ hours per pair. All that matters to those who patronize him is that those in their economic stratum know what they are wearing. Everyone else sees brown leather shoes. That gap is the entire value proposition. And honestly, as long as there are men with 9-figure net worths who want footwear no one else recognizes, Maison Corthay survives. He's not growing. He's not trying to. That's why he wins. Corthay's referral-only model is extreme, but at least you can try to get introduced. This next brand operates in a category where most people don't even know the category exists. And they've been doing it since before Belgium was a country. Number 13. Moynat. Moynat was founded in 1,849 inches Paris, 5 years before Louis Vuitton. They are the original trunk makers to French aristocracy. Then they vanished. The house closed in the 80s. For 25 years, Moynat didn't exist. Then something interesting happened. LVMH revived Moynat in 2011, but as the anti-Louis Vuitton, no monogram canvas, no logos, tiny production runs of private client travel pieces. By disappearing for decades, Moynat created mythology. When they returned, customers had to prove themselves worthy. This created the perfect environment that has allowed Moynat to thrive. Moynat operates on manufactured scarcity, yes, but it's scarcity backed by genuine 19th century archival techniques. These aren't machine-made bags with luxury prices. Every piece requires 40 to 80 hours of handwork by artisans trained in methods most luxury houses abandoned decades ago. The ultra-wealthy buy Moynat because their Louis Vuitton monogram luggage is on every flight to street barts. Moynat signals you've moved past needing recognition. They don't think about $9,500 on a Moynat weekender is too expensive. And it definitely isn't to them because a custom car trunk with personalized compartments from Moynat costs $85,000 and up above. And you'd have to wait 6 to 12 months. LVMH deliberately keeps Moynat microscopic. Revenue targets are maybe $50 million annually. Nothing for LVMH, but perfect for maintaining mystique. They'll never scale it, that's the strategy. Moynat disappeared and came back even more exclusive. But this next brand never left, they just refused to grow. For 200 years, they've made the exact same thing for the exact same families. Generational luxury in its purest form. Number 12. Valextra. This Milanese leather house was created in 1937. Architectural designs, zero logos, obsessive hand finishing. For decades, served Italian industrialists and Swiss bankers invisibly at insane prices. Their entry-level tote is around $2,900, and it goes up from there. You'll pay around $8,000 to $15,000 for their premium collection, and if you want custom colors, that adds 30%. The brand has enjoyed success. Their revenue tripled between 2010 and 2020 without changing philosophy. 8 stores globally. Milan-only production. By 2023, their eyeside bag had 18-month waitlists. Valextra wins by never apologizing for being inaccessible. Their leather comes from single tanneries they've worked with for 80 years. Color dyeing uses hand-mixed formulas specific to Valextra. Construction involves 24 hand-assembled components per bag. This isn't a marketing gimmick. You can visit their Milan workshop and watch. But you have to book 6 months ahead and prove you're a serious buyer. Rumors say Valextra is about to be acquired by either Kering or Richemont for somewhere around 400 million euros. Whoever buys them faces a test. Can you scale a brand whose entire value lies in not scaling? Valextra stayed invisible in Milan for 80 years. But this next brand, a German watchmaker, took invisibility even further. They make timepieces where the most expensive parts are hidden under the dial. Finishing work you'll never see. Craftsmanship for no one but you. Number 11. A. Lang & Söhne, German haute horlogerie from Glashütte. Founded 1845. Destroyed by World War II. Revived 1990. Production, roughly 5,000 watches annually. Zero marketing. Zero brand ambassadors, just obsessive finishing. 99% of buyers never notice. The UHNW individuals move differently. Imagine not wanting people to know your way. B costs around $75,000, and that you had to wait around 2 to 3 years for it. Even the entry level of your watch brand, Saxonia, costs about $28,000. And there's the Zeitwerk, which costs about $95,000. And the Turbograph Perpetual, which is around the $480,000 ballpark. What's the big deal about this watch anyway? Lange operates on cultural capital gatekeeping. If you know why finishing the internal movement components that you'll never see matters, you're the customer. If you're buying based on brand recognition, you're not. This creates a self-selecting audience. Lang owners recognize other Lang owners in boardrooms and private terminals. That recognition is silent, mutual, and more valuable than any advertisement. Lang doesn't need to grow. Their Saxony production facilities literally cannot scale beyond current output without compromising quality. They make around 5,000 watches annually and could probably sell 10,000, but they won't. That constraint is their moat. Lang proves that invisibility works in watchmaking. But it works even better in fashion, especially when two former child stars build a billion-dollar empire by refusing to be famous. No social media, no influencers, no celebrity partnerships, just silence. So, let's move on to number 10, The Row. The Row was founded in 2006 by Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen when they were 20 years old. The brand was named after London's Savile Row, and the mission was to create the perfect white t-shirt. As former child actresses worth hundreds of millions before puberty, they could have done anything. But they chose fashion, and they chose to do it in the least celebrity way possible. In 2012, the Olsens won CFDA Women's Wear Designer of the Year, the same year they officially retired from acting. While other celebrity brands used influencer marketing and logo-heavy merchandise, The Row did the opposite. No logos, no advertisements, no celebrity endorsements. For 3 years after founding The Row, the Olsens gave 0 interviews about it, and by 2021, The Row hit $100 million in annual revenue. By 2024, the brand was valued at $1 billion when the Wertheimer family, who owned Chanel and Françoise Bettencourt Meyers, the L'Oréal heiress, bought minority stakes. Current revenue estimates, $250 to $300 million annually. They have only 4 retail locations worldwide, and they offer 0 discounting, 0 sales. The Olsens cracked the code that defeats most celebrity brands. They disappeared. They don't appear in their own ads. They avoid Fashion Week front rows. Mary-Kate and Ashley don't have Instagram accounts. The Row doesn't run social media campaigns. This creates scarcity without manufacturing it. When The Row's quiet luxury aesthetic blew up on social media in 2023, the brand didn't capitalize with increased production. They held firm. Investors recognize The Row's genius. They've built a billion-dollar brand targeting ultra-high net worth individuals during an era when most luxury struggles with aspirational customers. The Row doesn't want aspirational buyers. They want collectors of $3,000 sweaters. The Row is positioned to become this generation's Hermes. Slow growth, uncompromising quality, absolute control of distribution. The Olsens retained majority ownership even after the $1 billion valuation. They're playing the 50-year game. The Olsen twins proved that celebrities can work in luxury if you hide the celebrity. But this next brand took quiet luxury even further. They've been hand-making suits for 70 years, and each one requires enough labor hours to equal a part-time job. Number 9. Kiton. We are back in Italy with this suit brand. It was founded in Naples 1968, and it is as traditional as it gets. They literally work with their hands. Each suit requires 25 to 30 hours of handwork, and they employ 400-plus tailors. Retail starts at $8,000. Bespoke? $30,000 and above. But this price point isn't scaring customers away. It's actually bringing in the UHNW ones, and once they put on a suit from this brand, they are hooked. In 2023, their revenue reached $204.6 million, a significant 26% increase from 2022. Kiton doesn't just sell suits, they sell relationships. When you buy your first chiton, they create a body profile, shoulder slope, arm length, posture, how you carry weight. By your third suit, they're working from measurements refined enough that alterations become minimal. Their target customer buys 2 to 4 suits annually for 20 to 30 years. That's a lifetime value of $500,000 per client. Kiton's business model isn't transactions, it's multi-generational patronage. Kiton will never be a billion-dollar brand. They physically cannot scale beyond current production without compromising craft, but they don't need to. Serving 5,000 clients globally. At $50,000, annual spend each generates $250 million in revenue. That's enough. Kiton proves craft can survive industrialization. But the next brand took it further. They're not just preserving craft, they're documenting it. Their workshops are museums. Their artisans are historians. And somehow, this philosophy is generating double-digit growth while the rest of luxury is struggling. Number 8. Brunello Cucinelli. Brunello Cucinelli has a humanistic capitalism philosophy. It basically means fair wages, ethical production, timeless design, and cashmere as a moral statement. Sounds soft. The numbers aren't. While luxury conglomerates consolidated in the 2000s, Cucinelli stayed independent and family-controlled. He took the company public in 2012 at a €750 million valuation, but retained majority control. Then came 2019. Quiet luxury discourse exploded post-succession. Cucinelli's philosophy, understated elegance, no logos, generational quality, suddenly aligned with ultra-wealthy consumers rejecting logo-heavy consumption. Cucinelli continued to have remarkable growth. Their revenue in 2019 was €607 million. In 2024, it was €1.28 billion. That's an over 100% growth in 5 years. But here's what's stunning. Cucinelli achieved this growth while maintaining Italian production, refusing fast fashion cycles, and limiting distribution to 400 select retailers globally. No discounting, no outlet stores. Price increases of 3.5% annually. Yet people continue to buy their cashmere sweater, which is around $2,000 to $4,500 and still rising. The UHNW are still going crazy for the $6,000 to $12,000 suit and the $15,000 and up vicuña pieces. By 2025, revenue hit €1.41 billion at an 11.5% growth year over year. During a luxury downturn, while LVMH reported declining sales. So, what's Cucinelli's secret weapon? He never chased aspirational buyers. His targets are the top 1% of the top 1%, ultra-high net worth individuals who want quality without flash. While luxury brands expanded to capture middle-income, aspirational customers, Cucinelli went the opposite direction. Fewer clients, higher prices, exclusive positioning. Private Casa Cucinelli locations opened in major cities and have invitation-only shopping experiences that feel like private homes. The result is the growth I talked about. This brand grew in China in 2024. For Cucinelli, everything is going according to plan. Their 5-year plan, which targets €1.8 billion in 2028, is still on course. But there's a problem. Cucinelli is wrong. Analysts believe Cucinelli is being conservative and can do more than €1 billion. The brand is expanding production capacity not to mass produce, but to maintain craft at larger scale. They're building new artisan facilities in Solomeo to secure Italian manufacturing for the next decade. Survival prediction? Cucinelli might become the next Hermes. Family-controlled, quality-obsessed, strategically scarce. But between them and the Row, who do you think would win the heir to Hermes race? Or would the two become heated rivals till the end? Cucinelli's growth proves quiet luxury isn't a trend, it's a permanent shift. But no brand embodies that shift more completely than this next one. They've been making the world's finest fibers for a century, and somehow they've turned extreme prices into extreme demand. Number 7. Loro Piana. Loro Piana was founded in 1924 in Trevero, Italy. And they are now 6 generations in, processing the world's rarest fibers. Vicuña from Peru, baby cashmere from Mongolia, lotus silk from Myanmar. LVMH saw an opportunity in them and acquired 80% in 2013 for $2.6 billion. Before that acquisition, Loro Piana made €700 million in revenue. After acquisition in 2023, they made over €2.2 billion. The real story of their success is their private allocation programs, which generate an estimated €400 to €500 million annually. The ultra-wealthy can't resist the rare fiber garments in limited production. They aren't buying store pieces. They're accessing vicuña allocations, custom cashmere weights, fabrics never released publicly. And speaking of Loro Piana's cashmere, a standard one costs about $1,500 to $2,500. The vicuña sweater, on the other hand, goes for $9,000 to $15,000. And if you thought that is pricey, their Storm System vicuña coat goes for $35,000. See what I mean? They could even jack up these prices if they wanted. You see, Loro Piana's genius is vertical integration of scarcity. They control fiber sourcing directly. They have exclusive agreements with Peruvian communities, a private 2,000-hectare reserve for the vicuña wool. They have direct relationships with Mongolian herders for their baby cashmere. And they've got lotus silk partnerships with Myanmar cooperatives. This means they literally control the global supply of the world's rarest fibers. When demand exceeds supply, they don't increase production, they increase prices. Vicuña sweater prices have risen 40% since 2018. Guess what happened during those price increases? Demand increased anyway. Loro Piana is LVMH's answer to Hermes. Ultra-high margins, inelastic demand, customers who don't blink at $15,000 sweaters. The brand could probably double revenue, but they won't. Controlled scarcity maintains pricing power. Loro Piana proves that controlling rare materials creates pricing power. But this next brand doesn't need rare fibers. They've created scarcity through pure access restriction. Everyone knows they exist. Almost nobody can actually buy from them. And we've already compared two brands on that list to them already. Number 6. Hermes Special Orders. Everyone knows Hermes, the Birkin, the Kelly, the orange boxes. Iconic luxury since 1837. But what most people don't know is that there's a second Hermes, an invitation-only ecosystem where regular retail rules don't apply. It's called Special Orders, or HSS horseshoe stamp, and accessing it requires years of relationship building and hundreds of thousands in purchase history. Hermes has always controlled access to its most desirable products through sales associate relationships. But in the 2000s, as luxury became more democratic through resale platforms, Hermes went the opposite direction. They made access even more restricted. Special orders formalized what was previously informal, a bespoke service for top-tier clients only. Hermes's special order program generates an estimated 500 million to 700 million euros annually, roughly 4 to 5% of total revenue. But its strategic value exceeds its direct revenue. Why? Because special orders are relationship currency. Getting the call from your sales associate, the invitation to create a custom bag, validates you're in Hermes top tier. It's status within status. This is what is interesting. Special order bags cost the same as standard bags. A custom Birkin 30 with your chosen color combination, leather type, hardware finish, and stitching details, same price as a standard Birkin 30. The value isn't cost, it's access. But there's a catch. You typically need $200,000 to $500,000 in purchase history across multiple years to receive that invitation. Hermes sure has taken gatekeeping to another level. You can't buy your way in directly. You must demonstrate loyalty over time. Buy scarves, shoes, home goods, and ready-to-wear. Build relationships. Prove you're not a flipper or status chaser. Only then, maybe, will your sales associate offer access. This creates a self-selecting audience. Special order clients aren't buying bags for Instagram. They're buying bags because they've earned the right to design them. That psychological premium is priceless. Hermes will never expand special orders broadly. Limited slots per sales associate per year maintain scarcity. As Hermes revenue grows, special order access becomes even more valuable. Hermes special orders prove that access beats affordability at the ultra-high end. But historical luxury houses, like Hermes, have brand equity built over centuries. This next brand was dead for 25 years and came back even more exclusive than before. Number 5. Goyard. Goyard was founded in 1853 in Paris. Unlike Louis Vuitton's mass expansion, Goyard stayed microscopic. No e-commerce until 2020, no influencers, no celebrity gifting. They've got visible products like the Street Louis totes and Anjou bags. But those are the entry-level items, where the real deal is their custom trunks, archival patterns, and bespoke travel cases, which real customers commission. Their revenue is around 150 to 200 million euros annually, and 60 to 70% comes from private commissions. Goyard operates on a visible and invisible strategy. The totes and visible pieces create brand awareness among upper-middle luxury consumers. But the real business, custom commissions for UHNW clients, operates invisibly. This dual approach is genius. Aspirational buyers fund operational costs through tote purchases. Ultra-wealthy clients fund profit through private commissions. And critically, the two markets never intersect. If you're buying a Goyard tote, you're not the customer they care about. If you're commissioning a custom trunk, you're the entire reason they exist. Goyard will stay family-owned and microscopic. They have zero interest in becoming LVMH. Current ownership understands that mass expansion would destroy the mystique that makes Goyard valuable. Survival prediction? They'll be here in 50 years, making custom trunks for the grandchildren of current clients. That's the business model. Goyard proves that staying independent and tiny can work. But independence is easier when you control something irreplaceable. This next brand controls the world's finest shoe leather, and they've turned that monopoly into one of luxury's most profitable businesses. Number 4. Berluti. Founded in 1895 in Paris by Alessandro Berluti, revolutionized shoes through patina technique, hand-applied color gradations impossible to replicate. LVMH acquired them 1993 and created 2 tiers: Retail Berluti and Bespoke Berluti. Bespoke operates through private appointments in major cities. Clients commission fully custom shoes, lasting to their feet, finished with patinas developed over multiple fittings. It costs $8,000 to $25,000 per pair, but you'll have to wait 6 to 18 months. Demand exceeds supply. Revenue from Bespoke is about 80 to 100 million euros annually, which is about 15 to 20% of the company's revenue, but 40 to 50% of profit. That's, for the lack of a better word, crazy. Then there are the private patina commissions of around $1,500 to $5,000. Berluti's private patina program is genius. Ultra-wealthy clients buy multiple pairs of ready-to-wear Berluti shoes, then commission custom patina treatments over time. A client might own 20 pairs of Berluti shoes, each with unique patina work developed over years. This creates continuous revenue from the same client. Not one-time purchases, ongoing relationships where the product literally evolves with the customer. Berluti's model, accessible retail funding, elite bespoke, is being copied across luxury. It works because it self-selects customers. If you're buying ready-to-wear, great. But if you're commissioning bespoke with private patina work, you're demonstrating wealth in a way retail purchases can't match. Berluti's 2-tier strategy proves you can serve both markets. But this next brand is even more extreme. They don't hide their elitism. They embrace it. And somehow, that honesty is generating explosive growth in markets where other luxury brands are dying. Number 3. Stefano Ricci. To most people, this brand is not fashionable, devastatingly expensive. Who would want to pay $300 to $500 for ties and $10,000 to $30,000 for suits? The UHNW individuals, of course. And I'm talking heads of state, industrial CEOs, oligarchs, Middle Eastern royalty, and any kind of royalty. With their clients, this brand makes 200 to 250 million euros annually, and they have grown 8 to 10% yearly for a decade. While fashion-forward menswear struggled, Ricci grew to serve men over 50 with traditional wealth who want zero visibility. Ricci operates in a space fashion has abandoned. The ultra-traditional, ultra-conservative, ultra-expensive menswear for men who need to look powerful in boardrooms and government meetings. They're not competing with trendy brands. They're competing with chiton and Brioni on quality, while offering even more conservative silhouettes. Their customers don't want anything interesting. They want reliable signals of wealth that only peers decode. A Stefano Ricci suit in a conference room tells other men of similar status. Stefano Ricci will never be cool. They don't want to be. They serve a demographic that values stability over innovation. As long as there are industrialists, diplomats, and traditional wealth concentrations, Ricci survives. Ricci proves that serving traditional power players works if you commit completely. But traditional luxury still operates in visible categories. This next brand is basically invisible. They make bags nobody recognizes, and they've been quietly dominant among European old money for almost 200 years. Number 2. Delvaux. This was founded in Brussels in 1829, making it the world's oldest luxury leather goods house. Older than Hermès by 8 years. Older than Louis Vuitton by 25. Older than Belgium itself, which didn't exist as a country yet. They have been the official fashion item provider to the Belgian royal court since 1883. They have got over 100 artisans across 3 workshops in Belgium and France. Archive of 3,000 historical handbag pieces. The Musée Delvaux in Brussels documents not just the brand, but the invention of handbags as a product category. Most people have never heard of them. While French luxury houses chased global expansion in the 20th century, Delvaux stayed Belgian. Minimal international presence. No celebrity partnerships. No logo merchandising. Production remained almost entirely local. This created mythology. European old money treated Delvaux bags as heirlooms, passed from mother to daughter, grandmother to granddaughter. Generational luxury in its purest form. Then, something shifted. You'll tell me whether it's for good or not. In 2021, Richemont acquired Delvaux for an undisclosed sum, but which has been estimated to be 400 to 500 million euros. But instead of mass expansion, Richemont has maintained Delvaux's microscopic positioning. Delvaux makes approximately 60 to 80 million euros annually from only having 42 stores globally while producing around 25,000 bags per year. But here's what's fascinating. Delvaux's average transaction value is among the highest in luxury. Why? Because people who buy Delvaux aren't buying one bag. They're buying into a system, building collections across styles, leathers, and colors over decades. Delvaux operates on what I'd call generational gatekeeping. They're not trying to be trendy. They're not chasing influencers. They're serving families who have bought from them for 3 or 4 generations. When you buy Delvaux, you're not making a fashion statement. You're joining a lineage. European old money recognizes Delvaux instantly, but only among peers. To outsiders, it's just a leather bag. That gap between insider recognition and outsider invisibility is their entire identity. Richemont could scale Delvaux. They have the infrastructure, but they won't, because making Delvaux visible would destroy what makes Delvaux valuable. Delvaux is the ultimate insider brand, recognized only by those who matter. But even Delvaux isn't as exclusive as this final brand. Because this one doesn't just restrict access through price or distribution. They restrict it through knowledge itself. If you don't understand why they matter, you literally cannot become a customer. Number 1. Bottega Veneta, pre-logo and archive era. This brand is revolutionary for rejecting logos entirely. Their motto, "When your own initials are enough." The intrecciato woven leather technique became their signature. It was recognizable to insiders, invisible to everyone else. For decades, Bottega served ultra-wealthy Europeans who wanted Italian leather craftsmanship without branding. Then Gucci Group, later Kering, acquired them in 2001. Under creative director Thomas Meyer 2001 to 2018, Bottega maintained its discreet positioning, and by 2018, revenue had grown from 200 million to over 1 billion euros. They looked positioned to dominate, but then something happened. After Thomas left, Daniel Lee took over in 2018 and made Bottega trendy. Pouch bags, padded cassette bags, Fashion Week hype, Instagram visibility. Revenue exploded to 1.6 billion euros by 2021, and the original customers left. What happened next wasn't surprising. As Bottega became mainstream recognizable post-2018, ultra-wealthy buyers who originally made the brand successful started hunting pre-logo era pieces. Vintage Bottega from the 70s, 80s, 90s, and early 2000s before it achieved mass visibility. Current Bottega under Matthew Blazy, who became creative director in 2021, is commercially successful. Their revenue is approximately 1.8 billion euros annually as of 2024. But there's now a parallel market. Archive Bottega collectors. Ultra-wealthy buyers commission vintage dealers to find rare 70s and 80s intrecciato pieces. Prices for authentic vintage Bottega have tripled since 2019. Why? Because those pieces represent what Bottega was before everyone knew about it. Owning an archive of Bottega signals you understood the brand before it became famous. That knowledge premium is the entire value. What's happening with Bottega represents the final form of luxury evolution. The ultra-wealthy don't just want obscure brands, they want obscure eras of brands. They're hunting pieces that predate mainstream awareness. This is why Hermès Vintage sells for more than new. Why archive Phoebe Philo era Celine commands premiums. Why pre-logo Bottega is more valuable than current collections. It's not about scarcity of production, it's the scarcity of knowledge. If you know why certain eras matter, you're in the club. If you don't, you can't even enter the conversation. Current Bottega will remain commercially successful, serving fashion-forward luxury consumers. But the ultra-wealthy have moved on. They're hunting archive pieces from when Bottega was truly invisible. This creates an impossible paradox for Kering. The more successful Bottega becomes commercially, the less valuable it becomes to its original ultra-high net worth customer base. They can't solve this, because going back to invisibility means sacrificing 1.8 billion euros in annual revenue. So, what do UHNW clients do? They hunt the past. What you're watching isn't just brands selling products. It's the ultra-wealthy rebuilding barriers to entry after mass luxury made recognition meaningless. 15 years ago, carrying a Chanel bag signaled wealth. Today, it signals you have access to credit. So, the truly wealthy migrated to brands that don't advertise. Then, when those brands became known, they migrated to invitation-only programs within those brands. And now, they're hunting vintage eras of brands that predate mainstream awareness. The pattern repeats. Visibility destroys value, so wealth hides. When hiding becomes visible, wealth finds new hiding places. Delvaux, Goyard, Hermès Special Orders, Archive Bottega, these aren't just luxury brands, they're gatekeeping systems. The product isn't the bag or the suit. The product is the knowledge required to understand why it matters. If you recognize every brand on this list, you're still not the target audience, because the target audience doesn't need to be told. They already know. And they're not watching this video. If you made it this far, drop a comment with which brand surprised you most. And if you're ready to go deeper into luxury's invisible economy, hit subscribe. Because what we just covered, that's just the surface.